I done broke it. Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for stopping by. Welcome to the lab. So, we have before me something that I haven't done in quite some time, and I'm very sad that I stopped doing it because it was a great way to start stream. So, it's time for tea. Just saying. What was I doing? I think it was yesterday. I was putting a bunch of furniture together and moving some stuff around and kind of trying to like get stuff out of the workshop. And I came in and was just kind of like moving some boxes around and so forth. And then I found this again. And I mean, it's been sitting like right behind me this more or less this entire time, but I completely forgot that it was there. And I also went and moved the old kettle, this thing. And I thought, well, it's been a little while. I'll get it cleaned up and whatnot. And then it hit me. It's like, oh yeah, we used to do that for stream. And now we don't anymore. Sad day. So, just wanted to kind of bring that back again. Ta-da. But of course, because it's the lab, we have to make it a whole thing. So, how is everybody? Hope you all are well. And for those of you that got this, that got to celebrate, happy Juneteenth. Yesterday was strange because yesterday, so yesterday is Juneteenth. It's a holiday in the United States, or at least it just became a federal holiday in the United States. It's like about bloody time, and so my office was closed because my office offers Juneteenth as a holiday, and and then we had something happen. Something that was production related. It happened the night before, so it happened Thursday evening, and well, yeah. So it necessitated a couple of things, but one of the things that happens on a holiday is that our VP turns deployments off because our deploy bot is a little Slack bot. So he turned the bot off, and so yesterday morning we're just kind of sitting there like, well, it would be really nice to have the bot right now. So, but that was a whole thing of oh, thank you so much for the host whore. How you doing, mate? A good morning. Let's see here. Decided to bring ye olde tea ceremony back because it's been a hot minute. But thanks so much for stopping by. Welcome to the lab. How you doing, mate? Put that over there. Back over there. Tea. It's very hot, so I'm not gonna mess with that for a second. But yeah. So yesterday was more or less just well, got a good bit of stuff done, but it's supposed to be a holiday, so that awkward moment when it's supposed to be a holiday, so you're supposed to be doing other things, but then you started doing work things because work things necessitated. And then you're just like, well, screw it. If I'm gonna be just sitting around waiting for stuff, well, then I might as well work on stuff, I guess. And yeah, welcome to my Friday. Not used to the heat, and 30 plus C is kind of destroying me. I hear you. What was it yesterday? 33, I think. 33, 34. It was stupid yesterday. But I'm doing good. Got a bunch of furniture put together. So finally getting the house looking a little more homely. And let's see here. I'm trying to think what else I did yesterday other than work. And I did go and see a friend of mine. We went and played Dungeon Mayhem, which is such a good tabletop game. Oh my goodness. I had so much fun with that. I was just really tired, I think, from work and from putting the furniture together, from work, just very, very tired by the time we got there. We went and had Mexican food, the Americanized version, and we had what was it? It's a frozen custard shop, I think is what they describe themselves as. And oh boy. Oof, that is still some good matcha. I know, real life things. Whoa. Let's see here, let me get this back up, make sure that's still good. Okay. So let's go ahead and get the code up. And the chat just went away. Huh, interesting. Let me double check that. Test. Ooh. The chat's just not there at all. Ooh. Oh, it's because the bloody box is way down there. Why was it way down there? Interesting. So secrets still work? Secret still works, okay. But it would appear that my chat box is broken. Huh. All right, let's see what that is real quick. Yeah, no, that looks reasonable. Okay. Close it. Show it. Test it. There it goes. Hello, IT. Have you tried turning it off and on again? Well, did you try turning it off and on again? Oh, that didn't work. Okay. Well, sorry, man. We'll escalate you to tier 3 support. You get bounced over to the next room over. Actually, early in my career, I did production support, and I was tier 2 support, and the policies that were enacted for how you reach. So this was weird though, because I was a developer. So technically speaking, developers I think typically run as depending on how the company structures it. Like we were tier 1, so we were like the last tier that you hit. Whenever you hit tier 1, you found like a truly catastrophic thing in the code and we have to fix it. Type of thing. But then I also just did shifts as a production support engineer. So I moved up in the tier layers. And some of the things that got escalated to tier 2 were very interesting. And also definitely just a fantastic example of hello IT, have you tried turning it off and on again? But the website version, so it was mostly just like refresh. If I didn't know as much as I do about memory and how memory is shuffled around and all that fun inside of a computer, try turning it off and on again wouldn't be such a standard recommendation for me, I think. But hey, it works for a reason. That's why we keep saying it. Like, it's not just a meme, it does actually work. All right, so where last we left off, we were looking at event sub, a thing that I didn't think that I would be saying anytime soon, but here we are. Now, where I left off and the reason that the bot is not running right now is because right now we are not succeeding on the event sub authorization. So attempting to get the challenge key from the body, key path not found. Maybe. So we're not getting the challenge key, or we're not parsing properly. Or actually, no, this was this may have been the client ID and secret stuff that I was supposed to do. Let me just close that out. All right, let's see here. Event sub. So here, where are we right now? We're in the event sub client. So in theory, we're here. We come over here, get challenge key from body, key path not found. Now, key path not found means that this failed. Now, this is what we ended up getting. Client ID and OAuth token do not match. That's right. So, what I was supposed to do, and I kind of sort of might have forgotten, I was supposed to set up a client ID secret and then get an OAuth access token for that at their OAuth flow. Guess what I didn't do? So, you remember how I said that I wanted to do that off stream so that that you guys didn't have to sit here and just watch me on a secret screen? Oh no. Let's see here. There was a let's see here. There was a site that I used at some point. Yeah, it was a token generator. But I don't remember what it was called. Generate Twitch client type and secret. Which one was it? So effectively, what I needed to do was I needed to get a client ID and a secret, and then from that client ID and secret, I needed to I effectively needed to generate this token. Oh Lord, I have to prove that I'm human. Okay, so if I do that, that gives me what I want, in theory. Okay. So now, so what I'm doing is I'm on this site. It's twitchtokengenerator.com, which we've used before. And what I need to do is I need to create a new client ID secret refresh token. And I need to give that token scopes. There is like no way for me to show this without the client ID and secret. Damn it. So I'll do like a snapshot, if you will. I'll take a screenshot. Booty boop. There we go. So I'll leave that up for or I'll not do that. Okay. Pull that screenshot up here. Yes, this is why I wish that I would have done the thing that I said that I was going to do. So what do we want? We want we want bits. We want ow. We do want moderation. We do want subscriptions. We do want whispers. We do want moderation items. We want redemptions. Do not want commercials. To hell with commercials. Don't want the stream key. We don't need extensions. We don't need to edit followers. We want to read followers. This is basically where I'm telling Twitch, these are the permissions that I want this this token to have. Let's see here. Read editors, manage videos. Nah. Blocked user list. Oh no. Why, thank you, Hora. Thank you so much for the berries. Let's see here. It makes me sad that this is not that the bot is not currently running. Let's see here. Do. Okay. So that gives me all of that. Okay. So generate the token. Authorize. I am not a robot. Lots of checked. All right, so now we've got our, let's see here. Them, the access token. So we've got our client ID. I am actually going to comment that out. Now watch all of this just fail miserably. That'll be great. Client ID. Access token.
So, how are you holding up? Because I'm a potato.
And I don't recall if we need the client's secret. No, we just need client ID and the access token. Okay. All right, so let's close that out. Close that out. Oh, thank you, Spooky. Thank you so much for the 9 months. Holy shit. Let me see here. Let me close this out real quick. Bring this up. Bring that up. Now I can bring the secrets back down. Hello, everybody. Aw, thank you so much, Spooky. Show me your hair. Well, it is long. Although we just did where is it? It'll be on this side. Just did a cleanup of the sides and the back, and oof. Why, thank you. Apparently that had to be added as a permitted term. What? Very Korean boy had to be added as a term? Really, Twitch? Really, Twitch? Oh, that's what it is. Slobs. Oh, right, it's because we don't have, Interesting, so none of the alerts are working. Thanks, Streamlabs. First the chat box goes down, and the alerts go down. Yep. Done broke it. So just to kind of showcase, so this is what I was looking at while I was on the thing. Oh no, the bot's not working. Yeah, we're still in Borked event subworld, so bear with me. This is what I was looking at. I was mostly just playing around with some of the permissions for that token. So we're gonna yeet that over there. Info. So we don't need that. In fact, we want to get rid of that. And logger. It's just that one. Okay. Let me put the secrets up just for a second. Just to make sure. All. Oh. Get challenge key from body, key path not found. Interesting. So even with a generated token, we're still getting errors. Unauthorized, must provide a valid app token. All right, so what I'm gonna do is, let's see here. So I'm gonna delete that. I'm gonna go into main. We're going to find the event sub client. And for the event sub client, we're just gonna yeah, we're just gonna disable the client right now. I think that should get the bot back. Which means that all of this is gone. So now this should run again. And the bot's back. All right. All right, we can take the secrets down. Boop. Now here comes the lab. Oh my goodness. Alrighty. So what had happened there? A lot. So what we've been trying to do is been trying to get the event sub client connected. And for anybody that remembers from last time, the event sub client was event sub more or less is just Twitch's new preferred medium for delivering messages via a more real-time API. But I've been pushing off looking at event sub for so long because they don't support WebSockets yet, which is kind of a key piece of the application right now. But alas. So where we left off last time, we had drafted the client, and we had started to look at okay, well, what do we need to connect the client? What do we need to when we're creating a subscription request? Let's see here. We had the actual subscription request. And then we were just about to start sending the HTTP method. And then we kept getting hit by the OAuth issue. So, yay! Dilly. That was the most pitiful meow that I think I've ever seen come out of you. She's like, let me see if I can show this proper. She's just kind of hanging out. She, I say her name, she just looks up at me and goes. Just opens her mouth, no sound comes out. Lazy. She doesn't care. Tell them till they say it's hard being as cute as you are. Yeah, okay. All right. So now the question becomes, because I'm having OAuth issues, we don't really get any messages. Oh, but that was the other thing too, is that I actually wouldn't be able to test this because, well, I don't have Ngrok set up. I could get Ngrok set up, but yeah. So I may have to put event sub on the back burner for a little bit. Let's see here, get diff, yep. Get add event sub, get commit in, remove log. Or actually, really, I could just do a get commit double dash amend. There we go. And I think I'm gonna put that. Oh, did I rebase? No. What? Oh. 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 Did I not already do that? Hang on a second. What's this? What's this? What's this? There's something in the bot. What's this? It's Chi router. I could have sworn I had Chi router. Chi router. Server.go. I don't have Chi router. So, hey, let's get some Chi router. Get pull? Oh, Lord. Okay. And sub client. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. Yep. Get status, get push origin current branch, and poof, gone. All right. So I don't remember that happening. So I'll read through that a little bit later, but effectively what I'm thinking is that I'm probably gonna have to shelve this for a little bit. Because otherwise y'all are gonna be sitting here watching me poke around behind the secrets view for like way too bloody long. So I can leave that in its current state, pull that down after stream, do some testing with the OAuth token where I don't have to worry about leaking secrets to the internet, and we'll go from there. But something that I do need to get is this. Now this was something that we had poked away on. Yes, deep dark secrets. We had poked around with this on changing over from the default servmux, the kind of built-in servmux in the Go language, over to Chi router, which was just a lightweight router that added a little more convenience over certain things like, oh hey, you want to just write a bunch of get functions. Here you go. Whoa. It looks so strange. Yeah, I think I'm having display issues because that does not look like the ASCII Thulu that I remember. Huh. Interesting. Anyway, we'll come back to that. Hey, it's me. As an administrator, you can still merge the request. I got the big red button. Merge. But I remember this because we were looking at just trying to make the router a little bit more ergonomic, and Chi was a great option for that. We're actually using Chi. Are we using Chi? Now I'm curious. I'm pretty sure it was Chi. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just me. Like on my screen, for some odd reason, the font looks really weird. So it looks like ASCII Thulu got like smashed. It's very strange. Again, when I was having technical difficulties this morning, apparently it didn't go away. So, okay, so that's done. Event subclient, that'll come up in just a second. Let's see what we got here. So I'll come back to this after stream, just based on what's happening. I am not gonna do tests because I'm not gonna subject people to that. Oh wow! Look at all that. And there's the there's the labels. Hi. Thank you so much for joining us. How you doing? I really wow. OBS is struggle busing a little bit, as am I. All right. So now the question is, we have technically three more things. And I'm actually going to change this because this is not really an MVP3 thing. This is tech debt. So we'll move that there. We only have 2 more things to do before we're done with MVP3, which at that point, like, I'm probably going to change Horizon 1 to just V1. 1.0. The mythical 1.0. Because this bot is coming along. Now, there were a couple of things that that were suggested for the last little bits of MVP3. We've got different behavior for commands based on the user, which I think, Phil, was that your recommendation? I feel like that was your feature request at some point. I didn't mark it as a feature request. Anyway, the other thing was polls. Polls are interesting. Because in my mind, the poll would do something very similar to what Rhodamant does for his polls. 5183. Am I actually gonna get that right? I think I got that right. So the extension that Rhodamant uses, it posts the poll like up here in the corner, and then you vote by either typing in the chat. So the way that he does it, I think, is if you're I think he does subscriber only polls, and then that way you type in the chat a number 1, 2, 3, blah. And then that's how you vote. And then in real time, it's updating the poll results, which is kind of cool. To build that, I don't think the CSS would be terrible, but I would have to create what is effectively a visual element. What would be really nice is to have an element that is a persistent poll. So it'd be an element that's up here in OBS. It's always there, and when it's active, the poll shows. But when it's inactive, the page goes blank. I don't know how to do that. Last I checked, because if I make this a browser source. Yeah. So one of them is more behavior, one is different behavior for commands based on different users. The other one is polls. Now, in the greatest form of irony that I can think of right now, which should we work on? Command behaviors or poll. We'll do that for the next, well, say 5 minutes. Why not? So, poll up above or over there. What should we work on next? Should we work on command behaviors or should we work on polls? Yes, I have a poll asking if I want to build polls. Hi. Welcome to the Meta Lab. In the meantime, as that poll runs, haven't talked a whole lot about the next project, which is something that I've been asked a couple of times now on like what I was planning on doing for the next project. So I'll put this back up for a minute so we can have some Go code in the background. But so the question that came up was, well, what am I doing next? What is the next project? And I've been going back and forth on what I actually want to work on. I've pulled out, I think, a couple of times on Discord about, like, you know, which direction does the group want me to go in, and what kind of projects would be interesting to them. The two that came up the most, one was interesting, one was surprising. So probably not surprising was game development, which is a whole thing, because that requires not just coding, but it also would require some type of graphics, which is something that I'm shite at. So I would probably have to elicit some assistance from folks, or I'd have to commission some folks for more or less for assistance on the graphic side of things. But there was some interest in let's see here, Go 2D. It was either Ebiton or there was another one, but I can't remember which one it was. But effectively, building some type of a game in Go. So that one's interesting. I would love to be able to do something like this, like something old school RPG related, like Dragon Quest type deal. Maybe one day. So there's that one, or there was 2D game engine. What was the other one? Pixel, that's what it was. And then there's also Pixel, which Pixel seems to be more or less the same idea as Ebiton. Pixel just seems to have a couple of things that are very focused on pixel art, if you will. There's some niceties that apparently work very well with pixels that I'm not personally familiar with. So I have been looking at that a little bit just to see, like, what would it look like to try and program something, some type of a game in Go. So that is an option. I have no idea how I would do the rest of it, but you know, we'll get there. Let's see here. So there was the game and Go, and then there was what's the other one? Oh yeah, the Stonks app. I don't know that I would consider that to be the most interesting thing in the world, but the general idea was that it was a simulated stock management app, which is kind of why in my mind I was kind of going, that would be interesting. But ooh, tiles. This reminds me of Zelda. but I think the idea was that I would be doing more. Oh my goodness. Holy shit. Polls. Wow. All right. The poll wins. We're going to work on polls. Also, hello, pizza. Yeah, the stock trading app thing wouldn't be a real stock trading app, but I think the idea was that they wanted to see more components of the development lifecycle. So they wanted to see things like, how would I architect such a situation? What additional things would I build? So like right now, everything is this like self-contained binary on my laptop, or in this case, the Mini. And it's just it's not the typical app, if you will. So what would it look like to build something on an actual database? What would it look like to build something on top of Kafka? What would it look like to deploy all of that into AWS? So it was more of the like show me what a production application looks like. And the application that they suggested was Stonks. So, hello, Medstonks, how you doing? So I'm going back and forth on which one that I would do. I mean, I look at this and I see something that reminds me so much of my first job, and I go, the nostalgia. But I also look at that and go, tile sets. Yeah. So, going back and forth on that, I'll probably post out a couple more times on the Discord whenever we get there, as just a, hey, this is what I'm thinking. You know, what do you guys think? And we'll go from there. But so polls wins. So now the question becomes, how do? Let's see here. Let me grab this real quick. Excuse me. Grab that. Plug that in. And let's see here. So that's all on. And oh, interesting. Okay. Nope, want that to go away. That to go away. I'm trying to bring this up on the iPad, but strangely, yeah, that looks very weird. It's like a little I don't know, it's like a little box. All right, so let's get that back over here. Polls. So, probably one of the first things that that I can do. Oh man, this is going to be interesting. So the poll, what I was originally envisioning, Radamant 5186. Apparently I didn't press 5. Radamant 5186 poll. Do they have a good image? Blades of Ragnarok, by the way. Fantastic series. Yeah, kind of. Okay, so something kind of... Ooh, didn't want to do that. Nope. Yeet. But you can kind of see here. So it's just it's a poll image that that sits somewhere on the screen. So it's a graphical element, not unlike the labels that we currently have up there. And then the idea is that I would be able to somewhere create that poll. The poll would then, as viewers are typing in chat to respond to it, which is kind of like half of the value prop, is that you don't have to interact with an on-screen element. So if you're on mobile, if you're on desktop, or if you're on whatever, you don't have to interact with Twitch elements. You can just type in chat a number, and then as that's going, you now close that out. As that's going, you can see in real time the poll numbers updating, or near real time, I'll call it. But come to a look for some time. No worries, mate. Thank you so much for stopping by. So good to see you. Have fun with the lab bots. So that's kind of what I want to build. It's not going to look that pretty. And there is the whole element of like, how do you style it? But I'm not really gonna mess with that too much. So to do that, I mean, there's some back end plumbing that we can do. Actually, there's a lot of back end plumbing that we can do. So what I think I'll do initially is I'll start the polling infrastructure. And then we'll make it pretty. Make it work, make it right, make it pretty. In that order, preferably. So how are we gonna do this? How do you wanna do this? Get checkout -b poll, sure. And let's start with, so what we're gonna need to do is we need to be able to initiate the poll, and we need to be able to capture inputs from the users via chat. So in my mind, that means that IRC is probably, well, maybe not IRC, but the poll, there's gonna have to be like a poll handler, because there's always a poll handler. So let's do bot poll handler.go. Just so the that thing doesn't explode. And then, do I want to make that a URL? So now the question becomes, okay, well, how do I initiate those polls? And who can initiate those polls? I could make it a chat command, which would be kinda sorta handy. Kinda sorta. Or I could make it a HTTP endpoint, which I would then have to start dealing with, like, how do I secure it and whatnot, to prevent others from being able to use it. But I'm not quite sure how I'd want to do that. If I did it as a command, if I did it as a chat command, it would be something like poll first. Well, assuming that this works this way, I don't think it works this way. So it would be what should we work on next? Polls command behavior. So it would probably have to look something like that, which means that the bot would have to parse this. And then, so this would become the question, and then it would just auto-assign as many answer options as there are. It would assign them numbers that would be stored in cache, and then off we would go. This is not terrible, but it's not particularly future-proof, if you will. So what I'm thinking is that, like, if I wanted to put a client on top of that, I could put a client on top of the HTTP API, and if I did that, then that means that to create the poll would be more of like, oh well, you're gonna have to post JSON to your client, and it would look something like question foo yada foop, yes, and then answers would be an array of A, B, C, and then same thing. Those answers would be auto-assigned numbers, and then the chat would see like, oh well, the question is foo. Type in chat 1 for A, 2 for B, 3 for C, and then off you go voting. This is more. It's a little bit more work, but it also gives me a little bit more playroom, I think, later on. So that if I wanted to, again, if I wanted to put a web client on top of this, if we had the admin panel come back. You remember that thing? That thing that I started to work on and then just like yeeted into oblivion? Whoops. That would actually be a little bit easier to integrate the admin panel into than if it was a chat client, or if it was a chat poll. I could still do it, but it would be like capturing this eventually in the admin panel, converting that into a command, and then sending that off to the bot, which is plausible. I've got a way to solve this. Right. When in doubt, roll it out. Let's see here. What kind of dice are we gonna roll for this? D20? Roll a D20. We're going to roll. Ooh! Gonna roll the pretty sparkly blue one. This one came out of the Elder dice. So we'll say if it's even, I'm gonna do the JSON approach, the HTTP API approach. If it's odd, then I'll do the chat option. And that's a 12. So we doing the HTTP API. Also, does anybody else just like carry a D20 around in your side pocket for such instances? I think I've done that twice now on a date. It's like we go to dinner or something, and I can't decide what I want, so I pull out the D20 and I roll it. I'm such a nerd and I love it. All right. So if we're going to do this as a handler, then that means that we're also going to need server, poll handler, and then we're going to echo package server into server poll handler. All right. So let's start with the server. Sorry, we actually need to go to the server. Oh, right, we didn't, hang on. Get rebase master. Commit m. We'll say poll handler for receiving inputs. Sure. So now server.go is now the cheap version. There we go. All right. So for the poll, so this is, we're gonna segment this just a little bit. If anybody's familiar with like a routes file, there are, oh Lord, there are a number of frameworks that do a routes file. I've come around to the idea of a routes file. I used to hate them. I used to think that there were too many things, especially for larger applications. The routes file would get really, really big, and it would be really hard to like find what you were looking for. But I've come around to the idea of a routes file because routes is usually the first place that you go when like you receive a bug ticket, or you're like, hey, I need to go and update how I accept payments. Well, where are you accepting payments? You're probably accepting them on the routes file, or you're accepting them on a HTTP routes file. So this is more or less what the server.go has turned into. We have this routes function that kind of sort of acts as a routes file. But one thing that I do like to do is I like to have metrics endpoints. I like to segment the these routes by some type of category. So for here, we're gonna have polls. And so what would we, so first we would need a router.post. And we're gonna say to polls, if we post to polls, we're going to create a poll. And in that poll, we don't need to pass anything because we've already got a metric store. I'm very tempted to condense the idea of metric store, but we'll get there. So we're going to post to polls. That will create a poll. And then I would say that probably creating a poll immediately activates it. Maybe there's a way to control that, but we'll say for the sake of simplicity, creating a poll activates it. So this would be like I post this JSON to the bot, and then the poll pops up on screen. In theory. Hey Spooky, I might message you later. Let's see here. I apologize in advance. I might message you later because there are implementation details running through my head and they made me think of you. I was like, oh no. I'm gonna need to consult the mentor. But we'll get there. Yeah, let's just start there. He's like, oh god, why? So let's start by building off of the server, create poll, and this returns a func of http.responseWriter, http.request, and then so this is going to return a func of w http.responseWriter, For some reason, the the auto suggest was not actually popping up all the HTTP stuff. So had to type full sentences. So what's this gonna look like? So type request struct. I started doing this a lot with Go APIs. There's this whole this idea that I can't remember who was it Matt Ryer? I think it was Matt Ryer. Coined this idea of when you're creating a handler, which is just kind of like a controller, if you will, in Go, you can embed the structs for your requests and your responses in the handler. So they become localized. So it's kind of like your API definition for a particular route is contained within the route that it's related to. Now that works really well for when the route definitions don't change, or sorry, when they change in between each other. But if you're using the same object for multiple routes, that's when it gets a little interesting. In that case, I'd probably move the request like up here somewhere outside of the function, and then just have a bunch of functions that depend on that same request. But I found that most of the times I'm not really using the same request. I'm always using some variation of the request itself. If I need to, I'll embed a struct. But so what would this look like? We definitely have a question, which is a string, JSON question. We would have, and then we'd have an array of answers. So answers would probably just be a slice of string. And I can't really think of it being more complicated than that. Yeah, no, can't think of it getting more complicated. So var rec request. This is another reason why I do this, because I can generate this code, which is really nice. So then to get the request, we have to do a json.new decoder r.body .decode and decode that into the request struct. This can error, if I remember correctly. Yes, it can. So this can error out. So if error does not equal to nil, logger dot error. Let's see here, and then this would be failed to unmarshal whole request. Now, normally I do something different, or sometimes I'll do a, well, yeah, let's just do this. I was gonna say, sometimes I do this. So I'll do a read all on r.body, which this is now complaining because body isn't declared but not used. And then here, I'll include the body. It's useful for debugging, put it that way. The problem is that happens, so you have to do defer r.body.close. And then down here, you have to do a defer r.body.close. So it's a little wonky looking, if you will. But yeah. So here we would also need to return an error. What I kind of like to do, you go to server. So right now, server is just a container for the HTTP routes and the dependencies between them, which is useful, very useful. Server has no method create poll. I call bullshit. There we go. But at the same time, like especially when an application like this grows, so if I get more functionality going into the HTTP routes, which definitely are at the moment, I start to end up with patterns. One such pattern is errors. So for errors, what I like to do, so these are my routes, and then standard errors. So I like to do something like this. Func S is a server. We want to say write, or I'll go back and forth on this, but sometimes I'll just call it error. Message is a string, and then we're also going to need the W, which is a HTTP.response writer, and then the message, which is a string, returns nothing. And what I'll have is an error struct. And an error struct is honestly just an error string, JSON error. Sometimes it'll be a little more involved than this, sometimes, but oftentimes it's not. And it'll just be it'll be something like JSON.new encoder dot encode. This would be, this case it would be error, and for here the error would be message. And do something like that. So the TLDR is that server will expose a standard error message. It's an error writer. I kind of like to call it write error. So write error responds with a standardized error body. And then I do also like to have status code. Status code is an integer. So w dot write header status code w dot header dot write content type. Oh, this needs to be w dot header dot add. There we go. Content type is application JSON. Very common miss to do in Go code. And so write error responds with a standardized error body. It just saves me from having to write that code over and over and over again. And then encode can fail. So error equals blah, blah, blah. If error does not equal to nil, then we do a logger dot error failed to write error response. And do something like that. So it's like all of this error message serialization or marshalling and getting the right status code, getting the right header set on the response, yada yada yada. All of that gets handled inside of this singular server.write error. Similarly, I'll often do this as well. I'll have func s is a server write JSON. And so this is a http dot response writer. Sometimes I'll have a status code, sometimes I won't. I will include a status code, message as a string. So this is kind of the same idea. And honestly, what I do, boop. Now with this one, I'll actually do a little bit, actually message is an interface. It can be anything. I'm not particularly prescriptive. Message. So we got our status code, we got our content type as JSON, encoder, we do that. If the error is not equal to nil, then what we do, this is a little tricky because oftentimes I like to return something here. If I can't write JSON, I'll usually return a HTTP 500. Also, yes, what I would do in this case is change this to s.write JSON error. Voila. And then we do w status code error. So now we have standard error. We have standard function for writing JSON. Write JSON, a helper to respond with a JSON message body. If marshalling fails, it will respond with a HTTP 500. It's usually what I end up doing. So if this happens, then we do a w dot write header 500. We'll still have the content type of application JSON. This is where you kind of get into a little bit of chicken and egg, because write error is going to default to write JSON. Write JSON is going to basically try to do the same thing that it just tried to do, and if that fails, then you potentially end up in a loop. So what we could do, we could do this. And the message here is response marshalling failed. We'll do something like that. I go back and forth on what kind of detail that I put in here. Sometimes I don't include anything, but as long as the logging is there, then if you get a response of a 500, then you know, oh, I need to go into the logs and see what happens. But in service-oriented architecture, that gets a little rough. So now this is a potential like loop condition, because if write error calls write JSON and this part fails, then it's like, oh, you tried to write an error, it failed, so it's going to try and write an error. If that fails again, which it probably is because of some marshalling error on the error object, well, then you're just screwed. So the challenge there is, if you are going to do this, make sure that this doesn't fail as much as humanly possible. And with that, I need to take a quick about 2-minute break or so. So when we come back, we will keep pushing on this ye olde application, but I'll be right back. And a back. Hello. Let me turn that like that. Yeah, that's a little bit better. And now the hair is going all different directions. Yeet. Oh, that looks worse. Oh no. Oh, that's terrible. Ah. Whoa. At least I will say, like, having the longer hair and the hair being flippy, it's been a long time since I've had flippy hair. That's pretty good. I still need to go to a stylist, like insert stylist here, just to be like, help, I'm trying to do the nice thing with thing in the center, but the top's not working, help. When I go in, I'd probably say something to that effect. Help, I don't hair good, please fix. And then just tip them ridiculously because they had to deal with me. All right, so all this plumbing for work that we already have that we probably should have done like way at the beginning when we first started this app, but hindsight's 2020. All right, so what we got? We got status code, content type. Try to send that thing to the thing. If the error is not equal to nil, we log an error. We try to write an error. Write error just calls write JSON. So potential infinite loop, but I don't think there's anything that we can do there. Because write JSON and write error, I kind of consider to be like core pieces of the server. So if that doesn't work, you don't throw that error up and let somebody else handle it. Like, this is the server. If we don't handle it, we screwed. We panic. So we'll leave that there, which means that now in create poll, we can come over here. And then we can do a thing here. We can do, well, nah, we won't do that. We'll just do an s dot write error w. This would technically be a 400. It's a bad request, and message would be invalid request body. Would look something like that. Okay. Then I wonder what would happen if we deferred r.body.close like way up here. I've never actually tried to do that. Something to look at later. Because that's a lot of code just to read. It's all right. We'll make this a little bit better as we go. But so now we've received the request. Now what do we do with it? Well, so we've received a request to create a new poll. We need to check to see if a poll is already running. Let's just document this. So we need to check if poll already running. If yes, return error. If not, then we'll do, yes, that's my version of else. Parrot. Else, let's see here. Write poll to cache. And we need to write poll to cache and then trigger bot into poll mode. Then from there, really all we're doing is setting state on this endpoint. So the bot would be put into poll mode, which means that the poll handler would be active, which then at that point we would go off and do our thing. Now I cannot remember an event sub. Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay. So was it in the event sub client? I feel like it was in the event sub client that we did this. I probably need to pull this out. Let's see. So we got a server, base URL, local server base URL, client ID, that does a thing. So that doesn't really do anything. Main.go, client ID, test token, event sub client. Yeah. So well, actually no. So we had sent the event sub client. We had pulled. Oh, I see. Okay. We had added that to the ENV store factory. Event sub handler didn't really do anything. Oh yeah, we do need to pull that out. Okay, but we don't actually have we don't have access to the bot. Yeah. Okay. So, and I think the reason is because previously we had been communicating via the cache, which is it's kind of that like borderline of communicate by passing messages, don't communicate by sharing memory, which is effectively what that is. It's like, oh, you've got a cache. That cache is memory. It's memory in a particular form, but it's still memory. And so one side is changing it, the other side is reading it. That's communicating by sharing memory. I don't really like doing that. What would probably be more helpful. Hey, hello, Thunderman. Welcome to the lab. Thank you so much for stopping by. How you doing, mate? It's me. I'm back. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm starting to question my my initial design decision on this. I think this would need to have either the bot or the server would have to become a bot client, which if we remember, because I don't, a bot client is a struct that has a channel that bot events are sent to. Which is, making some food after workout? Yes. Oh, there's something I didn't do yesterday. Well, it's not technically true. I was putting furniture together. That's kind of a workout. The excuses. Thunderman. He returns. So good to see you, mate. What is that emote? Oh, it finally got made. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, that's cool. I was wondering when that emote was gonna finally be made. Oh, I approve on so many levels. Let's see here. Now she's just extremely excited to see you. Just saying. Okay, so events probably aren't necessary. So what I was kind of looking at was with clients like IRC, things that were inputs to the bot, we communicated with the bot via bot events. We could do the same thing. For good reason. Yeah, you're right. Let's see here. We could do the same thing. Like we could create more events. But I don't know that would really be necessary. Like, we could just have the bot be wrapped by the server. Right? So we would have the router, the view metric store, blah, 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 blah. And here we could just have the bot. So then access to the bot would be available to the server. And then the server could do things like s.bot. Whatever. Now the challenge here is that there's a lot of stuff in here that we would have to be careful of. So I'm kind of going back and forth on that. Like, do I give direct access to the bot, or do I hide that behind like a channel or something? But I don't know that I necessarily need to. I think access to the bot should be perfectly fine. I think. Admittedly, I have also been toying with the idea of just turning the bot into a HTTP server. I'm not doing that, but I've toyed with the idea. Where have I been? Let's see here. So I took a hiatus for a little while for just to get my mental health back up. Just had a lot going on at the time. So took some time. Took a little bit to actually like get myself back into good working form, and then came back. So this would be, I think, the third or the fourth episode since back. So yeah, I've been all over the place, but I've been here this whole time. Is it a wild Medj?
No.
Oh, he grabbed a master ball. Oh shit! I get a master ball? Yo! I'm honored. Hell yeah. Also, hello, Guitar. Thank you so much for stopping by. Welcome to the lab. How you doing, mate? Let's see here. We're gonna do a couple. We're gonna do a quick shout out for Guitar Zero. Fantastic bloody streamer. And the cutest puppy on the internet, little Lemmy. I'm missing Lemmy. One day, someday, I'll actually return to your stream and I'll be happy. One day. Are you sure? Are you sure? Also, I sleep on a Shikibutan, so that's impressive that you managed to do that while not being noticed. Also, hello, Officer Wolf. Thanks so much for stopping by. Welcome to the lab. How you doing? Oh my goodness. So many people stopping by. Hello. Not for long, though. I'm actually going to become a normal person by a bed. Which, speaking of, that's what I'm supposed to be doing today. Ha! Whoops. Absolutely. And then, of course, I know it was done earlier, but spooky. Ooh, there's a thing. Hey, Guitar. I owed you a command on the bot. Do you want a command like Spooky? Agonizing over book 2? Where are you? Where are you? There you are. Ahem. If you have not picked up your copy of Biting the Bullet, pick it up. What you doing? It's a good story. You're nuts if you ain't got one of these. Just saying. Yay. That's okay, pick it up anyway. Just look at the pretty picture on the front. Just pick it up and imagine this really sick Western scene. Pretty good. Stop. Never. Never. And you better let me know when book 2 is available, because you know I'm going to buy one. Nothing special, he says. Okay. Okay. By the way, Guitar, if you would like to post a link to the book, please do, because I don't have that. But yes, if you would like to have a command, I would love to make you a command, and maybe be like, hey, go see Guitar over at Twitch. Also, buy his book. Oh, I know what we can do. Hang on. Whee! Whee! Just do that whole thing every once in a while. I was like, subliminal messaging halfway through the stream. La 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 la. Doc is so good though. I need more Doc in my life. It really is. And I mean, it's a smaller book. The story feels kind of like an intro to the world and the story and so forth. And it's just great. I need more. I need more. Oop. Put that right there so it doesn't get bent. I'm definitely gonna put that on the bookshelf downstairs, cause reading room. Hoping for an October release. Let's go. Oh man, there's so many things that are gonna be happening in October. I'm so ready for it. And it's June. Whoa. Let's see here. All right. Sorry, I had to gush over the book and the friends for a little bit. Hello. Alrighty. So we got access to the bot. We also have access to the cache. The cache. So then that does beg a question. Do we still need the cache? And then, additionally, do we need the alert WebSocket? I don't think we need the alert WebSocket anymore. Also, I don't even think anybody's using alert WebSocket. Hello? Yeah, it's not even used. Get out of here. Delete to boop. Delete the boop. Aiming for 4 books, some side stories, then I get to work on a fantasy Mad Max Highlander mashup. Shut up and take my money. That sounds sick. I need that in my life. I need that in my life. I need it. Just gonna throw that out there. That sounds sick though. Hell yeah. Make it so. Make it so. Make it so. Ukatoa? That you? Alright, let's see here. So close that out. One book link. Get the ebook, I'll sign it on autograph. Yo! Or authorgraph. Yo! Buy the book. Buy it. This is randomly throughout the stream. Alright, so we're talking about the debug client. Buy the book. And today we're going to be building a HTTP client. Buy the book. I'm trying to remember what, I was doing something at work. I was in some meeting at work, and I was doing that a little bit. It was like, payments. And it was actually like slipping through. But eventually somebody goes, "Are you ASMRing us?" Like, yes. Welcome to Babe. Buy the book. I start doing that at work, but buy the book. Like, what book are you talking about? Exactly. In a good mood today. Let's see here. Okay, so we don't need the write-only unsafe WebSocket because, well, so the whole point of the write... Where is this? Hold on. Bot.write-only unsafe WebSocket. Write-only unsafe WebSocket. There it is. A write-only WebSocket that should be used defensively, as there is no guarantee that the connection was initialized or is currently connected. Okay, so does anything else use this? Yeah, so there was the alert handler. That's right. But the server didn't need that. That's the thing that kind of caught me. So we'll ignore that. So we'll leave that for now. She's support book 2 has been like pulling teeth because imposter syndrome, but we're getting there. Yay! I believe. So I was very tempted to buy another one, but I didn't. Plus 10 to code AC. For the code AC that is currently set at a 3, I could definitely use a plus 10. Oh man. You hit that point where it's like, you know, I'm the one writing this code, so clearly I'm not gonna screw myself, right? 2 hours later. Why isn't this working? Because you didn't code defensively, bro. Okay. So that means that in the bot, I've gone all over the place here. So in the bot, I need to be able to initialize a poll. So what would that look like? Well, actually, first things, let's go to server poll handler. Poll handler creates the poll. It will check the bot to see if a poll is running. If a poll is running, then it fails out. If it's not running, then we do a thing. So polls. So that would mean that the bot would need to have some kind of state to be able to say whether or not a poll is running or not. So probably have polls. Poll running is a Boolean. And then so then the bot being the arbiter of whether a poll is running or not makes sense. It's that like centralized context. But then how do I initialize the poll handler? I did game design, the coding melted my brain. Worked with Torque. Ooh. I remember Torque, but I don't remember why. Now I'm curious. I was talking a little bit about that earlier, just talking about what potentially the next project is gonna be. And I touched on the idea of the next project being a 2D game of some kind. Oh boy. Because the last time that I tried to mess with building a game, even if it was just like a simple game, my brain melted. Because I did not do any of the game design theory, like, at all. I wanted to take game design theory and game design development in college, but they kept the two curriculum so strictly separated, and even for my extras, they weren't available. Like, oh, you can take this one extra, which is game design and whatever, but you can't because we don't offer it that semester. Well, then why do you offer it? Buh. Moved on to Unreal halfway through the third year. My head exploded. Yeah. That's the thing, is that I keep getting into that mindset of like, part of me wants to just code the engine just to figure out how it works. The rest of me is like, but I actually do want to build the game. I don't really want to have to relearn 30 plus years of exposure to actually, I wonder, do I have nope, I don't have it anymore. Damn it. I used to have the game engine black book. Oh, now I gotta pull it up. Amazon game engine black book. Now, this wasn't the actually no, sorry, it wasn't game engine black book. It was the graphics pipeline, I think it was. Or graphics programming. Oh shoot, I actually can't remember. I can't remember what it was called. This one. Michael Abrash's Graphics Programming Black Book. I used to own one of these. Woof. You talk about an intense book to get through. What's the collectible version? What is this? It's got a CD-ROM. Yeah, but like, look at this monstrosity. Look at that. Look at it. Woof. And it did come with a CD-ROM. That's pretty cool. Anyway, yeah. Just remembering trying to read that book reminds me of why I appreciate game engine designers, because they deal with all that shit. At some point, I just need to get comfortable with the idea of just take Ebaton, just take Pixel, whichever one I'm going to deal with, and just build from there. But then that reveals the fact that I'm not creative. It's like, but if I have to build the engine, then I get to do all the sciencey bits. But then I realize that I'm shit at the sciencey bits too. And then the project collapses. That awkward moment when all this work you did, it means nothing. Ooh, okay. I'm just about at time, so I think I'll have to come back to this next time. But TLDR being okay. To do how to get poll events to the poll handler. I'll end on. I think I'll end on this one. I had somebody that I was mentoring. Oh God, what was this? 4 or 5 months ago? I think it's been now. Maybe longer. Just kind of doing like an informal mentorship pairing, if you will. Going over whether it be code or talking about career stuff or all that fun. And one of the questions that came up was, how do I deal with when requirements change and all the work that I just did just gets thrown out the window? Effectively hitting on that moment of Like, you're working on something, you're working really hard on something, and then business comes in and is like, so, about that thing that you've been working really hard on, we're not doing it. And you just kind of have that moment of like slow deflation. And the thought was like, okay, well, what do I do in those situations? How do you cope? And my answer was, you don't. You move on, because the next thing that's coming, you're probably going to be spending a lot of time on too. Who was it? Was it? I think it was. I can't. I think it was. I think it was you. You know who you are. Talking about like the zen of just letting go. It took a very long time in my career to get to that point where I could have that zen. But looking back on it now, like everything that you do, everything that you build, regardless of if you use it or if you just yeet it out the window, it's useful because you were working on it. Your brain was working on it, so your brain got stronger. You probably remember something from that at some point that'll kind of be like even if you don't remember everything, it's just like a hint of, oh yeah, I did that thing. What was that thing? And then you try to recall it. That's beneficial. And then maybe you recall it, maybe you don't, but you have this like inkling of what to do, and you kind of move on that. Like that's still valuable. And same thing for what they were dealing with. They were working on this feature for I think well over a month. It was kind of like it was straining them because they'd never done it before and da 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 da. And that was the whole thing of like, okay, well, yes, you threw it away, but you didn't throw away the experience. Like you still had the experience. That's still valuable. And now you're going to move on to another problem, and you're going to solve that problem. And potentially that problem is going to be fun. Or maybe not, but maybe you'll learn something. Details. Also, wow, the head is shiny right now. I'm still waiting for the day when I can just do this. Just like pull it straight back. But as you can see, the front doesn't quite agree with that yet. One day. But yeah, that was an interesting, like, it took me so long to get past that point of like, oh, I've been working on something for so long and now it's gonna get thrown out the window. Why? To just recognizing that regardless of how futile it seems, like every single thing that I do was an experience. It was something that I got to do. So take them for what it is. They're experiences. You get to enjoy the experience for whatever that's worth. Oh no. Oh. Okay, we went a whole month before we actually spilled something on this this mouse pad. Oh man. This is the fancy like Linus Tech Tips stylized Northern Lights. I think I've shown this before. Yeah, it's like they took the concept of the Northern Lights and then they styled it in a kind of like retro pixely style ish, kind of. I don't know. It's a little more abstract than that. But yo. Oh, here we go. Yeah, there we go. Probably could have just shown the box, but yeet. Hopefully that's kind of sort of coming through. You know what? Put that over there. Put that right there. That over there. There it is. Buy the book. He's very big. It covers the entirety of the desk, which is such a big improvement over the old what was it, the HyperX? I think it was a HyperX one that I had down before. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I like having the full coverage mouse pads or desk pads. I don't think you can call this a mouse pad. I'm pretty sure this has to be classified as a desk pad. Oh, hi, Toby. Would you like to come up and say hello? Come here. Come on. Come here. Hang on, he'll do it. Come on. Come on. Don't act like you don't know what I'm telling you. Uh-huh. Toby. Toby has arrived. Hi. He's being needy today. You want to say hi to everybody? Oop. There we go. You say that. Did you purring? Oh, you stopped purring? Now he's purring. It's weird. Whenever I go into a call, especially like at work, he'll always come to that side and just sit on the floor and stare at me. But usually it's only about 5 or 10 seconds before he decides that he wants to come up, and he'll jump up, and then this is usually where he ends up. He ends up like right here. And he's just chilling. Oh, can you do the tap emoji? That face is like, hi. Are you quite cozy? I'm purring like crazy, so we'll take it. Can you purr into the microphone? No? Rude. You gotta give the internet what they want, Toby. Alright. And now I'm just like covered in white hair. Just hair goes whoop. Alrighty, well, that is gonna do it for today. Need to go and figure out whatever it is I'm doing with my hair, and then I gotta go and be an adult. Ugh. So lame to do that. Thank you for stream. Thank you for coming to stream. So good to see everybody. So next time we'll play around a little bit more with the polls. I'm going to write a note for myself this time to actually look at the bits for event sub in between, so that we're not gonna get into that whole situation of just sitting here with the secret screen up again, because I don't want that. But I'll try to look at that in between. But at least we're moving on with polls, so that should be interesting. Always great to see all of you. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for stopping by the lab. And we'll see you next time. Until then, stay curious. Right, Toby? He's just staring at me like, just in the stream, dude. All right, all. Thank you all so much for stopping by. Stay curious, and we'll see you all in the next stream. Take care, everybody.